World Wide Web, welcome to Hangin' With. I'm G.W. Pomichter, and thanks for logging on and tuning in to Hangin' With. If you haven't already, go on down here and press the subscribe button and find out whenever we interview an author, artist, entertainer, filmmaker, musician, just general creative people. So log on, subscribe, please. We want to start off with a special shout out to our friends at Something Unique Magazine. That's somethinguniquemag.com, and we send our special thanks also to some of our new friends over at Awesomeness TV. That's awesomenessnetworktv.com. These people are sharing these videos on the World Wide Web for us to help us bring you these authors. Thanks to Lou Belcher of the Florida Book News, a blog to bring attention to Florida writers, Florida organizations, and writing events. And so thanks a lot there for sharing our videos. We are now at the 8th annual Eau Gallie Art Festival. It's put on by Author for Authors, and it's in historic downtown Eau Gallie in Melbourne, Florida. And we want to thank Dr. Valerie Allen, Holly Fox, Bellencoop, and Marshall Frank for having us in here and letting us hang with these authors. We're here, and we are hanging with writer and creator H.V. Rhodes. He is a member of the Space Coast Writers Guild, and he has a book coming out expected in January. And we're going to talk a little bit. HV, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. Thank
you very much. So tell us a little bit. First of all, you're with the Writers Guild, and the Writers Guild is a big part of this event.
Very much.
Very much. And how's the event going for this weekend?
It's been very successful by all accounts. It's good for us to have the opportunity to get out, get our work out in front of the public, and hopefully make some sales.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see a lot of people walking. We have a lot of authors, obviously, but I see a lot of people walking through and checking out authors and books for the first time. So it's just been a great experience. We've had a great experience here.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's great
to do it in conjunction with the Artworks Art Fair, so you've got a lot of creative people in the same place at the same time.
You do, and it's just Brevard County. I didn't know had such a large and eclectic art community. But I walked down the street earlier and I looked at the books that are out here, and we're a fountain of creativity, and it's amazing to see that. So, and I know you're a big part of it now. So you have a book coming out in January. Was that your first book? Or
Actually,
published before?
I've had other work coming out, but I'm really especially excited about this one because it's my first novel.
Really?
Yes, it's a historical action adventure.
Wow.
It's entitled August 1864, which, as one might imagine, that most of the action occurs in August 1864.
Okay.
But basically, toward the end of the Civil War, the Confederates attempted a daring raid that may change the course of history. And the question is can the U.S. Navy stop them in time?
Wow. So, and being a historical action adventure, there's a lot of research that goes into that.
Yes.
And especially about a period that is, we learn about that period in time in our history classes. We see it in our movies and films. So what was that research like? Was it daunting?
For me, it's interesting. I think we're the sum total of those who've gone before us, and it's important. And as you said, we hear about it, but there's a lot of great stories back there that we haven't heard yet.
Yeah, there are.
And I think that's one of the things I wanted to bring out. We kind of, when we study history, we have a sense of inevitability, but things don't always turn out. It's not always preordained how things are going to turn out.
Yeah, it's fun to look back, because when you look back, you say, okay, we know where that's going. But those who were there, those involved in those events, they didn't know where it would go. And so, as much as we feel that, where we are was inevitable, not to Abraham Lincoln, not to the soldier on the field or the spy. They didn't know at any moment.
As a matter of fact, Abraham Lincoln, at the point I'm writing about, he was assuming he was going to lose re-election, and the history of the United States was going to go off in a completely different direction. And I'm trying to, that's part of the background for the story, but I think it's an interesting
Now, are those are tidbits. Is that difficult to infuse a sense of urgency and a sense of not being inevitable? Is that hard to infuse when you're dealing with history? Because we know where it went.
Yes.
So is it hard to create that sense of anticipation with
I'd
your
say
readers?
it's a challenge, but fortunately, there's a lot of documentation from that era, and you can kind of understand what they were going through and the agony and ordeal that so many of them were going through. And there was such great sacrifice that occurred at that time that one comes away from that with just a great sense of respect for what they did go through.
Absolutely. Again, they didn't know we would be here, so or they they didn't know we would be here the way we are. So, and I'm sure there are journal writers. We always hear, history is written by the winners of any conflict. So we always hear about the letters home from the soldiers, maybe from the Union, who they felt the inevitability of a Union victory. I'm sure there's letters home from a Confederate soldier that says, we did great today, and we're going to win, and this is the way the history will remember us.
And at the time I'm writing about, it could have gone still either way.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm trying to bring out. I've got characters on both sides of the conflict. And I'm also trying to bring out the fact that this was really a revolution in America that's ending slavery and setting us up for becoming a more equitable society that we are today. For example, you probably weren't aware, as I was not aware previously, that 1/4 of the sailors in the U.S. Navy in that era were black men.
I wasn't aware of that. I was not aware of that. I was aware that back as far as the Revolution, the U.S. military, of which I'm a proud veteran.
Good for you, me too.
Thank you. What service?
Navy.
It's almost the same. No, I'm the Army guy.
Okay. Well, America's soldiers,
American
special
soldiers.
people
That's,
too.
Without the Navy, up until recently, we would never go anywhere. So, but yeah. What's your favorite part of being a creator and an author right now? Is it the research? Is it the readers? There's so much dynamic there. What do you enjoy most about it?
I think if I had to pick a single aspect, it's bringing all these dynamics together into a completed, finished product.
Now, writing historical fiction is a little bit different of a model. You don't have to create a universe, but you have to create within an existing universe. Do you find that difficult, or is that something that you just really enjoy?
Well, I feel I have an obligation to try and tell the truth as best I'm able to, so I try and keep it as grounded as I possibly can. It's a bit of a challenge, but at the same time, if you're inclined to go back and read the first-hand materials, the source materials, and to attempt to put yourself into their shoes and understand the challenges that they were facing at that time. I think it's somewhat rewarding if you're able to bring that off the right way.
Yeah, I can imagine. I really can. My books take place throughout history, so there's period pieces, but it's not grounded in that world. So I can write over here and not think about it. I have to think about the pop culture of the era and the things that would have been real. In your case, you have to delve so deeply into it that Again, we don't create worlds like some of our sci-fi friends. They can create the entire universe. I have to live within a universe that I knew existed already. And at the end, even though I want to create a sense of anticipation, people really do know where it goes already. So I have to create that sense of urgency within the story itself. And so I think that's pretty great. Do you have any coming events or anything with the Space Coast Writers Guild or anything coming up that you want to let the World Wide Web know about?
I'll give a shout out to the fact we're having our annual conference in January.
Okay.
We do a book in a day. What that is you come in with some material, and we do editing,
wow,
packaging, and basically by the end of the day we've got a finished book. It's an anthology that's available both in electronic format and also in the POD hard copy format.
Wow, fantastic.
So we've got a very creative group of people in our Space Coast Writers Guild, and it's really nice to be part of such a distinguished writers community.
I was talking earlier with a first-time author, and we were talking about the fact that this is an industry that with so many people that are now doing print on demand and things like that. It looks from the outside like this incredibly competitive environment. Yet our people in this industry, the writers, the creators, we're not competitive. We want everybody to succeed, and that to me it's amazing to be a part of that community, and so that's great. And we have a conference coming up in January. You have a date for that?
I believe it's the last weekend in January.
The last weekend in January. You can look at Space Coast Writers Guild. You'll have a website.
www.scwg.org.
Great. Check that out. Check out the Space Coast Writers Guild if you're here in Brevard or anywhere in the surrounding areas, and check out the annual conference in January. We've been here at the conference, and you've been a member of the guild for a while. We'd like to ask everybody what the coolest thing, what experience that you've had with these creators has been.
I guess coolest and unique. It might be two different areas.
Yeah.
The thing that surprised me most is how many people don't read books.
Yeah, that is
the
sort
thing
of.
that's coolest is there are so many creative people out there who are interested, and so it's always nice to make a connection with those types of people.
That's fantastic. It really is. We have to wrap it up here in a minute, so I want to remind everybody to look for H.V. Rhodes coming up in January. Look for August 1864. It evidently was a very interesting month, and it's going to be a very interesting tale told in a period of time that so many of us don't know enough about. So check out H.V. Rhodes, August 1864. That'll be coming to Amazon and KDP and places that you can look online pretty soon. In the meantime, while you're looking for writers, go to the Space Coast Writers Guild. Look them up at scwg.org and check those guys out and see who they're writing, what they're writing. A lot of members there doing anthologies. We've been hanging with H.V. Rhodes. Thank you for hanging with us today. They are, as you can hear in the background, they are wrapping this entire event up for the day. We'll be back tomorrow, though. We want to thank Something Unique Magazine for helping us share these videos online. We're going to look for these over the course of the next week or two. They'll be coming out each day. So check back here at our YouTube channel for more episodes, or go over to the iTunes store and check out the podcast. They'll be updating really, really soon. Take a quick run over to our Hangin' With store at cafepress.com/hangingwith. Pick up a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a ball cap. Help us, support us, so that we can support these great artists and authors that we're hanging with. We are at the 8th annual Eau Gallie Art Festival again in historic downtown Eau Gallie in Melbourne, Florida. Really want to thank Dr. Valerie Allen, Holly Fox, Valacoop, and Marshall Frank, because they let us come in here and hang with these great artists today. I'm G.W. Pomichter. We've been hanging with H.V. Rhodes. And remember, subscribe, log on, tune in. We'll be back tomorrow, and come on and see who we're hanging with. Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to Hangin' With. I'm G.W. Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down there and click that subscribe button for us and keep coming back for more Hangin' With authors, artists, creators. We are going to talk to some great folks here. So we want to start off real quick by thanking our friends over at Something Unique Magazine. They've been sharing this all over their magazine website and helping us to reach the World Wide Web with these great authors and artists. Awesomeness TV Network. It's awesomenessnetworktv.com. Thanks for sharing our videos with other YouTubers. Thanks to Lou Belcher and the Florida Book News They're a blog to bring attention to Florida writers, Florida organizations, and writing events, and we thank them for helping us out. We are at the 8th annual Eau Gallie Art Festival in historic downtown Eau Gallie district of Melbourne, Florida, and the Authors for Authors Committee, Dr. Valerie Allen, Holly Velicoop, and Marshall Frank were nice enough to invite us in here to hang with people. And right now we are hanging here today with Anne Bonner. That's right. And she's the author of Sinful Love, Feeling the Love, Florida Fever, Angel's True Love, and many more YA novels. And thanks for hanging with us. Thank you for coming and hanging with us today. I understand that you painted this cover design.
Yes, I did.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. It's a beautiful cover. So tell us a little bit. We're going to start out with how you doing this weekend. Are you meeting a lot of people at the event?
Yes, it's wonderful.
Is it? Is you having a lot of fun?
I'm glad it stopped raining.
Amen. Amen. It was just so drizzly.
Yes.
And yesterday it poured. It was like a thunderstorm out there. Thank God we were in here.
Yes. It's beautiful.
It is. And so many people have been coming through, and I hope you've met a lot of readers.
A lot of readers.
Tell us a little bit about how let's talk about you first. How did you first start writing and creating? Now you're painting too, so how did you first start, creating?
I started writing Florida historical books,
Okay.
fiction,
Yes, ma'am.
because my grandson was not getting the history that I thought he should get for the state of Florida.
Yeah.
So I started with young adult books, and I wrote a trilogy, and then they clamored for more, so I wrote another one.
So you gave them some more.
And I wrote another one, so I have 5 young adult books.
Wonderful.
And I decided, enough of that, I want to write adult books.
Okay.
So here are some of them.
So these are what you wrote. Okay. So through your writing process, is there a writer out there or a mentor or someone who actually maybe inspires you to write? Now you said it was actually your youngins that inspired you.
It was my grandson
that said, hey, I'm not getting enough of this Florida history, and you gave it to him.
Yes.
In a fun way.
And I do programs in schools, and I dress in period attire.
Oh, wonderful.
With the
wow.
antebellum skirt.
Oh, fantastic. So, as a writer getting started with your YA collection, and now you're doing adult stuff, what were some of the hurdles or challenges that you faced as you started out?
Well, I wish I could say I had hurdles, but I didn't. I've written 9 books in 9 years. And I intend to make 10 books in 10 years, and then I'm going to concentrate on my oil painting. On your
painting? And now what are you painting? Do you paint in oils or
I paint in oils.
You paint in oils, okay.
Big ones, not little.
Big ones, not little, okay. All right then. And this cover of Sinful Love is by Anne, as is Sinful Love. Tell us a little bit about some of the takeaways. Don't give us any spoilers. We want them to buy the book. But tell us a little bit about, let's start with Sinful Love. What's Sinful Love about?
Well, Sinful Love, I've gotten a lot of flack about.
Okay.
I didn't realize it at the time that I would get so much criticism.
About what? What are people's major critiques?
They want romantic books to end happily, and this one may not be so happy.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to get your Hollywood ending.
No. Not
okay.
in this book.
So you know what though? I think as the market opens up, I think there are readers out there who are sophisticated enough to understand that not all stories have a happy ending. Sometimes when they do, you don't know what happened the next day. All we know about Cinderella is they lived happily ever after. There were a lot of bumps in there, I'm sure. And so Sinful Love, if you're ready to read a real adult book that without a Hollywood ending, this is for you. And remember, this is really art. This is not only did she paint a picture with her words, but she painted a picture for you to see on the cover. So make sure you take a look at that. Now let's look at Florida Forever here. What are we looking at
Florida
here?
Fever.
Florida Fever. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
There's a card right there, and I still got it wrong. Florida Fever. What are we talking about in here?
This is when the hurricane came, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
horrible fevers came, but it's a happy book. It
It's a
doesn't
happy
sound
book?
like it, but
Okay.
it is a happy.
Well, when we go through trial and tragedy and turmoil, a lot of times we come out the other side better,
Yes.
and I think that's a happy ending.
Yes.
We get through it, it's a happy ending for us.
Yes.
So
It's-
if you're looking for something that's going to take you a little different direction, it's Sinful Love, and if you're looking for something that's going to leave you with an uplifting feeling, it's Florida Fever. And we're going to be looking for the art. Look, this is amazing. I'm going to put this up where the camera can see it. These are the kinds of oils that Anne is doing. Obviously much bigger.
Much
bigger.
bigger, and they're all Florida scenes.
And they're all Florida scenes. So if you're
Landscape.
from Florida, or if you wish you were from Florida because you're in the snow coming up, then go ahead and check out Anne's paintings that are coming out. We want to ask you sort of what your most rewarding experience has been as an artist.
To get the words on paper about my beautiful state of Florida. I'm a 5th generation Floridian.
Well, there's not many of those. That is an actual Floridian is a rarity in itself, especially in Central Florida. I found that I have more former neighbors from the Northeast than I have from Florida, and I myself from upstate New York originally. So it's great to have a 5th generation Floridian and to tell us about Florida history and Florida life. That's amazing. We get a lot of folks watching this show that are up and coming artists. You're going to be new authors. They're maybe starting to paint. Some of them are starting to make films. We talked to some new filmmakers, and a lot of those out there. When you're talking to those folks, what kind of advice would you give them about being a creator?
Just keep doing what you like to do, because the more you do, it just seems like it multiplies.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's just a lot of fun.
It is. We said earlier, really, it comes back to the old Nike model. Just do it.
Yeah,
do it,
do it.
and do it some more, and get better and better at it. So, we're probably going to get ready to wrap it up here, but we know we have Florida Fever here, and we have Sinful Love here, but I see you've got Angels to True Love and a lot more. What do you call a major theme of some of your writing? What do you want people to really take away from it?
Well, I would like to take away the glory of our state, which was really a wild state in the 1800s.
Wow.
And these people who settled here were real pioneers.
Wonderful. And people don't think of Florida like that.
No, they don't.
They don't. People think about the push westward and things like that, but they really don't think about Florida and how we came to be. We're such a transplant state that everybody focuses on the history of where they came from instead of where they live.
And we're Southerners.
I do know that. Although in Central Florida, you'd think we were from the Northeast. In South Florida, it's still an immigrant state. And in North Florida, we do have a little bit of South left in
We
us.
still are Southerners.
That's right. We're still Southerners. So how can our viewers find your work? Do you have your own website?
Yes, I have my own website, www.annebonner.com.
AnneBonner.com. Go on over to www.annebonner.com, and you can check out some of Anne's fine work. You can find Sinful Love. You can find Florida Fever. Also, you can find Angels, the True Love, and Feeling the Love, and many, many more. Many more. If you can't find it there, head on over probably to Amazon. You can probably find it there. Do a Google search for Anne Bonner or Sinful Love, and you'll be able to find it that way. We have to take off here, ladies and gentlemen, and wrap this one up. Thank you so much for being with us. Again, our special thanks to Something Unique Magazine and to the iTunes Store for having our podcast in there. If you're on the line right now, go ahead and hit subscribe down there. And while you're at it, click the link in the description. Head on over to cafepress.com/hangingwith. Grab a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a ball cap and help us to do what we do and bring these great authors to you and get the word out about what's going on. I'm G.W. Pomichter, and we have been hanging with Anne Bonner, the author of Sinful Love, Feeling the Love, Florida Fever, and Angels True Love. Head on over to AnneBonner.com for more. And remember to subscribe down here. Log on, tune in, see who we're going to be hanging with next here at the Eau Gallie Art Festival.